This is for moms that are considering home birth and want to know the kind of questions that you want to ask a midwife before actually picking and hiring her to be your assisted home birth midwife. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. If you are new, I am a mom to a almost 3-year-old little boy, and we have another baby on the way. I am a home birth mama, so I gave birth to my firstborn at home. It was a assisted home birth with a midwife, and we are going to be doing the same with our second. I will also preface this video by saying that home birth is not for all moms. This is for moms that are considering home birth and want to know the kind of questions that you want to ask a midwife before actually picking and hiring her to be your assisted home birth midwife. I have 10 extremely important questions that I like to ask a midwife before I actually hire her. I've hired 2 now, and I am absolutely pleased with the both of them. Obviously, one of my home births was a successful home birth. There's nothing wrong with transferring, but it's always so exciting when you have that successful home if a midwife has had a home birth herself. So that is really important to me because it's hard to imagine helping someone give birth at home when you've never done so. So I think it's really important when you're choosing a midwife. Number 1, hopefully she's given birth, and number 2, you want to make sure it was a home birth. Not all of the births have to have been at home, but at least one birth you want to have had at home is that she is certified. So you want to make sure you check her qualifications or his qualifications before choosing them. You want to absolutely understand from their website or from any of the information that they're giving you that their qualifications are there and understood. It is going to be whether they are certified in neonatal resuscitation. In the state of Colorado, it is absolutely a requirement. It is a requirement. You have to be certified in neonatal resuscitation to become a certified midwife in the state of Colorado. So just understand your state's qualifications. Sorry, Oliver's kind of crawling and toddling around here. But make sure you understand your state's qualifications for neonatal resuscitation and understand that probably most midwives will know neonatal resuscitation. In my interviewing process, I've interviewed over, I would say, 5 midwives in my state, which is actually a big number of midwives. A lot of states don't actually have that many, and a lot of states have more. It's also not always legal to have a home birth in all states. So not all states have the legality of having a home birth. In the state of Colorado, it absolutely is legal to have a home birth with an assisted midwife. So what you want to do is just start out by researching. Research the best and safe way to give birth at home. Research, I think that there's a lot of amazing resources out there for helping you feel confident in knowing that you are able to have a home birth, a low risk pregnancy. You can absolutely have a home birth. You don't have to be in the hospital to do it unless you want to. It's totally up to your preference. I grew up knowing I did not want to have birth. What is her most common reason for transfer? So a lot of women, first-time mom especially, it is really difficult to progress the way that they want to sometimes. So sometimes first-time moms get transferred just because of delayed progression, which absolutely happens. Even in the hospital, there's people who are in labor for days, just not progressing, having a really hard time progressing. Normally when you have a birth that is triggered naturally, it is a lot faster of a birth process, and that's what happens at home is you go into labor naturally unless you go to 42 weeks, and then they will go ahead and figure out what the cause is and induce you if necessary at the hospital. But if you are doing a home birth, you do not get induced and you will go into natural labor. If they carry Pitocin for hemorrhaging, what a lot of women, or what a lot of people don't know, is that Pitocin is actually really good after birth. If a woman is bleeding too much, you get shot with Pitocin, and that will stop your hemorrhaging pretty quickly. Pitocin, in society, Pitocin is thought of as something to help progress labor, help contractions come, which is absolutely the case. and that's why Pitocin is used after birth for hemorrhaging. It just helps the stop of bleeding. So I think it's pretty important that your midwife carry a Pitocin, just because if after birth you are having a hard time delivering placenta, or if you are bleeding too much, they'll go ahead and shoot you with a little bit of Pitocin, and that usually will help the situation much better. And this is kind of a funny one, but so important, is how do they manage a mom who is in labor and asking for medication for pain? It's actually really funny that I mention this. If you go into a home birth, you know that you're not going to have any kind of pain medication. That's just how that goes. It's important that your midwife can really stand firm and help you understand that you don't need that medication. This pain is for a reason. There is nothing wrong with the pain that you are having, and it is all completely natural. It's important that your midwife will be able to help either egg you on, boost your ego, do whatever they have to do to help support you in knowing that you don't need the medication. You don't need the pain medicine. If you want it, absolutely go to the hospital and get it. But if you are having a home birth, you already know beforehand that that is something that you're not going to have. Because if they have a student, it's amazing in the state of Colorado how many people actually want to become midwives. I think that there needs to be more, of course, because honestly, if you ever talk to a midwife, they will always say that we need more midwives in this world, which is so incredibly true. We really do. But that's what's amazing about having a student, is that that is exactly why they're there. They're becoming a midwife. So I always like to ask a midwife if they have a student. Most of the time in the interview, if they have a student, they actually will be having the interview with you and the student together. So for me, I interviewed a few midwives this go around that each of them actually did have a student. The one we chose does not. So the midwife we chose does not have a student, but that's not why we chose her. We would have chose her had she had a student or not. The one that delivered Oliver, our midwife that helped deliver Oliver, she did have a student, and she was absolutely phenomenal. I actually got to see her the other day, and she got to see Oliver. So it was really funny. The student actually remembered Oliver too, because she knew that he was really big. She could not believe somebody mentioned that he was tall in the room. And she said something about how he came out that way, which he did. He was almost 23 inches. Is if you have a big enough bathtub, if it's okay for you to labor in your own bathtub rather than having a tub be brought. Because a lot of midwives will, if you want to have a home birth, water birth, they will require that you have one of their either troughs or inflatable pools, and they are actually quite a bit bigger than what your bathtub will be, unless you have an enormous bathtub. I have a pretty large bathtub, and I would really like to be able to give birth in it, but we will have to see. It might not be compatible. So that's the big thing, is usually around 36 weeks, your midwife will come and have a home visit with you. And if you have any questions about any of this, please, you guys, comment down below. But she will usually come and have a home visit with you to make sure everything is in tip-top shape to be able to give birth at home. And I'm going to ask her if I can actually labor in my own tub, because I would love to be able to just have my tub and not have to bring a big trough in. But I will if I have to. Is her cost. Each midwife is a little bit different. My midwife I had before this one was actually a little bit costlier. The midwife I had before this one was a little bit pricier. So it just depends. It really just depends. You just want to make sure you know her upfront costs, when those costs are due, and if she has any payments she likes to have before then. And you also want to make sure you get an idea of all the other important things that you're going to need to be purchasing, such as a birthing kit, anything that you're going to need at home during the birth, anything that you're going to need during your pregnancy, such as labs, ultrasounds, any of these things if you don't have insurance, or if you do. So yeah, that's another important thing, is cost. Do you require a birth kit? Which most midwives that I've seen actually do have a birth kit that you purchase online. And in this birth kit, I will show you guys mine when I get it. In the birth kit, you will have all of the essentials that you need for giving birth at home. Any after ease things, anything that you're gonna need for the baby, anything that you're gonna need for you. Food, that's the other amazing thing, is during a home birth, you're able to eat throughout the whole thing, which I don't remember eating with my last, but I will make sure I eat with this one, because you lose energy so quickly, and eating helps so much. I think that wraps up my most 10 important questions. If you guys have any other questions for me, absolutely, please comment down below. If you guys have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have had a home birth and you know that I missed something, please mention it down below. I know all moms that want to see this video are looking for all the information that they can possibly receive. I know I was like that. I know I went to YouTube to try and find questions to ask a home birth midwife, and I just could not find any. So it's really awesome that we can all come together if we can to give the moms the information that they need. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys subscribe and like. And if you don't want to miss any more Colorado Sunshine this way, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.